I used to have a life. I had everything. Comes and goes. Comes and goes. I didn't know it. I was far from home. Used to have a life. I had everything. Comes and goes. Comes and goes. Comes and goes. It comes and goes. Before you know it, you're so far from home. Before you know it, baby, you're so far from home. Before you know it, baby, so far from home. Comes and goes. Comes and goes. It comes and goes. It comes and goes. It comes and goes, babe. It comes and goes. Comes and goes, babe. Comes and goes. Woo. It comes and goes. Yeah. It comes and goes, babe. Yeah. It comes and goes.
KCRW, make some noise. John Carroll Kirby and Eddie Chacon in the building. Eddie, you've surrounded yourself with some great young creatives. How does it feel to be embraced for your royalty in terms of what you did in the 90s and even today?
It makes my heart leap, honestly. It's pure joy, and I just feel I could pinch myself. I feel incredibly grateful that younger and the contemporary generation of super talented and amazing artists that are carrying the torch of all this great music that there have welcomed me with open arms, and I'm just really appreciative.
Yeah. And another person who's welcomed you with open arms, John Carroll Kirby. Tell me about the secret sauce that he adds to the flavor. What are your takeaways from working with John?
Well, when we started together, I think it was so amazing to me that I actually didn't know that we were making records. I would come to his house and he would play me these amazing jams that he'd be working on. Then he'd spin his chair around and hand me the microphone and say, "You want to sing?" And I would very nervously, I didn't have my confidence back up at that time. I was still kind of dusting off the cobwebs from maybe almost 30 years of not really doing anything musically. So I felt comfortable because I felt at home in his home, and he was so welcoming and just kind of embraced me, and everything I would do, he'd just turn around and say, "Yeah, man, I'm not mad at that. That's got to be. You want me to do it again?" And he'd be like, "No, I think it's just fine the way it is."
Goes the way it was. I'm in trouble. Trying to quit this stuff.
so divided. Had my cake, undecided.
John, what is it about Eddie that made you want to invite him to participate on these songs?
What it was about Eddie was who he is as a person. I can't work with anybody if there's not a story behind it, and I think Eddie's got one of the wildest and best stories out of anyone. And having spent time with him and heard his trials and tribulations and seeing who he's become on the other end of all that is inspiring and is what makes the collaborative process so beautiful.
It's interesting that you make a reference to stories. If you check out Eddie Chacon's Instagram, he's one of the flyest brothers out there with his fashion, but he's also a storyteller. I mean, he takes us back to 7728 Hollywood Boulevard in the 90s, to stories of Leon Ware, Lenny Kravitz, Luke from Two Live Crew. Being a storyteller, I mean, you open up this part of yourself. How comfortable are you with that? And how does it feel to reflect back and look at your amazing history?
Well, I think it's important to be an open book. I'm always of the belief that ask me anything, and I just try to update my iOS constantly and remain completely open to new and young ideas. I love youth. I love young artists. I love, there was a lot of really incredible people that mentored and gave me a chance when I was young and struggling and didn't really have a resume. They stepped up and they got behind me and supported me. So I just can't see it any other way than to be that type of person, because that was the way I was treated as a young artist when I moved to LA in 1984.
What is it about, when you say the youth, what is it about that energy that makes you gravitate to that?
A willingness to constantly reinvent and try new things completely without judgment and without rules. Constantly reinventing the rules and making new sounds and new ideas. And I just admire that so much, and can only hope that I could maintain this as I get older, and also be open-minded and have a willingness to break the rules and create new sounds and new music and remain fresh.
Yeah. John, I have a question for you as well. For both of you, it feels like just watching you play the piano, there's this connection to spirituality. Eddie, for you, it's almost like reflectiveness. It's beautiful. How much does humor play into the creative process? Is there humor?
100%. I like to play characters, especially on an album like Eddie's, where I'm playing most or all of the instruments, his first album. And I give a little character to each person. Oh, is this trombone player a total egomaniac? Maybe the keyboard player is kind of a weird guy in the corner or something. And so I create this little menagerie of people, but they're all me. And I sort of have a little like sitcom going on in my head between the dynamic of all these people and egos at play, even though it's all coming from my own.
I need you, Papa. Don't let the family down. I heard you were by the house. Wish that I could see you. Wish that I could see you. could see you. Wish that I could see you. Papa.
John, you're from LA. You went to USC. How much does the environment play into your sound? Because I feel like there is this LA connection to your sound.
Yeah, 100%. You know, like my song Rainmaker, I'm thinking about a lawnmower on a hot day going back and forth, or hearing music coming out of cars. You know, you might get inspired by some music you didn't mean to check out, stuff like that. Inspired by the wildlife, you know, the mountain lions, the coyotes and stuff like that. Yeah, so it's all accumulative of living in LA, and I love it.
Yeah. I recently caught one of your playlists that are really cool faves right now. And there's some interesting folks that you spotlighted. Charles Stepney, Daniel Johnston, all who have amazing stories. And you've been dropped by labels, challenged by your experiences, and yet you follow your dream, yet you continue to fight on. And I have to ask you, this graciousness that you have is just so magnetic. It's inspiring. How do you maintain that?
Well, I'm inspired by, I feel like I'm standing on the shoulders of so many tremendous people that had a lot of faith in me, and I honestly don't want to let them down. I was once working with this tremendous songwriter named Greg Sutton, and he was telling me a story on the way to lunch very subtly and quietly, and he didn't know that it was going to have any resonance whatsoever. I don't think he saw the importance of the story himself, but he spoke about a very, very famous artist who was no longer famous. And I love this artist. And I was like, what happened to this artist? And he just very casually said, oh, she got talked out of who she was. And I never, ever forgot that. And it stayed with me my whole life. So I think about it all the time. And I oftentimes tell young people when they're down and discouraged, I say, man, don't get talked out of who you are. Just, you know.
Caught up in a thing. I know I think I'm in control. Holding on, holding on. As above, below, above, below. As above, below, below, yeah.
Your new record, Stone's Throw, forthcoming. You mentioned on Instagram that it's a dream come true. Tell us what is it about Stone's Throw that that just puts a smile on your face?
It does put a smile on my face because, you know, in only you know, in being an artist, you sometimes, if you're lucky enough, you get to work with some of the people that you admired from afar for so long. And I remember I would see Chris Peanut Butter Wolf around town. We're going back, you know, 15 years. And I would just be like, man, I'm not even going to walk up and say hi to that guy. I'd just be too nervous, you know, because I was just so blown away by this curation that he's been creating for all of us over the last 25 years. And as I said about KCRW earlier, I think that Chris and Stone's Throw and Peanut Butter Wolf, as Chris is known, they're so deeply woven into the fabric of Los Angeles music, and it reverberates all around the world. And I don't know, to just, you know, you wake up and now I'm on Stone's Throw. Yeah. So it's a dream come true. It really is.
Who are some of the artists that you really mess with on Stone's Throw? Because it's such a diverse selection of sounds.
Oh man, well actually, once again, I love the new artists. I love Sophie Royer and I love John Carroll Kirby. It's funny on my year-end list. Here he is. John's my partner, and we make music together. My year-end list, number one most listened, John Carroll Kirby.
You know that guy.
My dude. But yeah, I love the current. I love Sundown Archives. I love. I'm always. The past isn't going anywhere. We carry it in our hearts, but I am always looking forward. That's what I'm interested in. So I love Stone's Throw's current and new roster.
While we living so glued, still pretending we don't know what to do. Yeah, we can make it holy, or we can make it hell. We can keep on smiling, we can't stop the hands of time. Woo! Oh, hey, make it holy.
John, you mentioned that you gravitate towards his story. You're inspired by his story. How does it feel to know that now you are a part of that story?
Oh wow, I've never thought about it that way. You know, when Eddie and I get together, it always feels super organic. So we never, even making the first record, we didn't even. He says he didn't know we were making a record. I didn't quite know it either. It was just something that sort of was the product of our friendship. So and one thing about Eddie is he's a very in the moment guy. So yeah, I never thought about it as being part of a story. But if you say so, Anthony, I take your word, man.
I mean, real quick, we want to get back to music. Once again, you're listening to Morning Becomes Eclectic. Eddie Chacon, John Carroll Kirby. What can we expect on this record?
Well, I think it's honest to say that the first record was like I'd call it a bedroom celestial soul, lo-fi high soul record. But I think this next record is more expansive, and it's a continuation of the journey, but more expansive. And we did bring in a lot of our favorite live musicians. So there's honestly a musicality that is there that in the first record, like John said, he was playing all the instruments. So yeah.
Eddie Chacon, I got to tell you, as a fan, you're a huge part of my childhood, and it's great to see you doing it now. And, you know, we talked a little bit online, and you said something about you wanted to thank KCRW for putting you back on the map. And I just want to say in closing, you put yourself on that map, and we're proud to be a part of that journey, be a part of your journey as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Eddie Chacon, John Carroll Kirby.
Thank you.
Thank you.